If the things that your mentor tells you make sense, you don't need that mentor anymore. Today we're going to talk about leadership and building. I got a lot of good content for you guys, okay? I'm going to go over a little bit of mindset, and then we're going to go over 2 major tangible skills that leaders have to learn: emotional control and communication. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Before I go into it, I do want to share something. There is 2 skill sets that pay the most in the marketplace: marketing and sales, and leadership. Okay, if you look at any organization, I don't care what they do, the 2 highest paying positions and the place where they invest the majority of their financial capabilities is in leadership positions, so the executives, and sales and marketing. Why? Because even if you have an amazing product, which most companies do that are successful, if people don't know about it, you're not going to help anyone. Yes or no?
Yeah.
So you need amazing marketing and sales in order to be able to market that product in a way where everyone learns about it. Yes or no?
Yeah.
Okay. On the other side of it, you need amazing leadership. Why? Because human beings are very powerful, but we're also very independent in our thinking. Would you agree?
Yeah.
You know, it's easy to hurt sheep, but try herding cats. You know what's the difference? Cats are crazy and they're independent, like people are. Okay? Sheep, they're just going to go with the flow. So when you're leading people, it's almost like herding cats. Now, if you can get them to work together, you're creating an army that's going to do crazy things. A lot of the most amazing inventions that we have are built by teams of people, not one person, but teams of people that came together to bring that to life. Yes or no?
Yes.
But you need a leader, and there's usually different leadership positions, to bring those people together so they can work in harmony without drama, so that the majority of their potential can come out. Does that make sense? Yeah. And by the way, it can be as simple as even sports. When most of you probably don't know this individual, unless you're a big soccer fan, Alex Ferguson is known as one of the greatest managers in football history, soccer history. You know what was his number 1 capability? He would make an average player into a good player. He would make a good player into a great player, and he would make great players into the greatest players. And you know how you knew that was his capability? When those players would leave that team to a different team, they would go back to the same player they used to be. Does that make sense? So one of the biggest things about leadership is you get the most out of people. Is that fair?
Yeah. Yes.
Now, here's my definition of leadership. Okay? I think it's my definition. I don't know if someone else came up with it, but I quoted it, so it's mine now. Okay? I Googled it. No one else had said it, so it's mine. Okay? And this is being recorded. Don't ever take this. This is my quote. I believe, okay, a leader is someone who has done such a great job leading themselves that other people are drawn to learn from them. Every person is a leader, and they are leading one very important person, themselves. A great leader is someone that can guide and teach people how to best lead themselves. That's it. You know, a lot of people are confused. What is leadership? That's leadership. A leader is someone who has done such a great job of leading themselves, where other people look at them and they go, you know what? I want to be like that person. I want to have those qualities, so I want to follow their example. When you look at athletes who are very, very famous, very successful, those athletes are not teaching you how to make money. They're not teaching you mindset. They're not, you know, some are. They're not teaching you how to become just like them in that sport. So why do so many people follow them? Why do so many people buy the clothes that they buy? Why do so many people? Because they look at them and they go, that person has done such an amazing job of leading themselves in their life that I want to duplicate it. So if they eat something, I want to eat that. If they drink something, I want to drink that. If they wear something, I want to wear that, because they assume that if they have those things, they will become that person. Truth is though, the only thing that will make you like that person is if you duplicate the mindset. Go and dress up like Cristiano Ronaldo, do your hair. I remember in middle school, everyone had I had one of those ones. You don't become Cristiano Ronaldo because of his hairstyle. You become Cristiano Ronaldo because of his mindset. Make sense? You don't become Messi because of, you know, his fashion sense. He doesn't have much of it. You become Messi, okay, which is fair. He doesn't care about it. But you become Messi by having Messi's mindset. So the most important thing that you need to duplicate in people that you're inspired by is the way they think and the way they act, because that has created their life. And then you bring your own uniqueness into it. Yes or no?
Yeah.
Awesome. So let's talk about first, why do people fail to lead and build great organizations? Why do people fail to lead and build great organizations? The number 1 reason, in my opinion, is limiting beliefs, doubts, and fears. When I was first starting, I had a limiting belief in my ability to lead a big organization. Because one, I didn't have the example of it around me, so I didn't know what it would look like. And two, I didn't understand how I could, because I was so busy taking care of myself. I'm like, how am I going to take care of other people? How am I going to take care of 5, 10, 15, 20, 50, 100 people? It was such a limiting belief to me. I had such a fear about it that I would do things purposefully to bring the organization down. And when I say purposefully, I don't mean that I did it on purpose necessarily, but subconsciously I would do things that would turn people off and they would stop coming. Does that make sense? So second thing, the second reason why people fail to lead others and build a great organization, they're not coachable and refuse to be great followers / team players. They are not coachable and they refuse to be great followers and team players. Here's one thing that I learned that changed my whole mentality when it came to getting mentored, being coachable, following someone else. I used to have this ego where I thought if I'm following them, then I'm not a leader. That's the craziest thing you could hear. There's the least amount of truth in that. It's actually the opposite. The best leaders were once the best followers. Most of them are still following someone. They're still getting mentorship and guidance from someone. Because how else are you supposed to become a great leader if you don't duplicate an already great one? Yes or no?
Yeah, guys.
And by the way, leadership can be found in many different places. It could be found in religion, it can be found in business, it can be found in sports, it can be found in a job, but you have to duplicate the good qualities. Not everyone, no one's perfect. Hey, I have some great qualities, I have some bad qualities. Duplicate the great qualities, leave the bad. And then duplicate the great qualities that you have and continue that process. But the reality is, the biggest thing that holds people back in this business is lack of coachability. And why are we not coachable? Because the things that we are told to do that we don't want to do are uncomfortable. Because we don't understand why we should do it. The reason you don't understand is because you haven't experienced it. You haven't seen the benefits. You haven't seen the negatives. You don't know. So if it made sense to you, then you would already have the results that we do. Let me tell you something. If the things that your mentor tells you make sense, you don't need that mentor anymore. Mentorship is not supposed to make sense to you. If it already made sense, that means you already have my mindset and you should already have my results. Yes or no?
Yeah.
Okay. So when your mentor, when your coach, when the person you're following tells you to do something, it should be out of your comfort zone because it's something you haven't done before because you don't have the results in it. Many of you have a personal trainer maybe. Does the personal trainer tell you to do exercises that you were already doing with the same intensity that you were already doing it? Hell no. If they were, then why did you get a personal trainer? The personal trainer is supposed to give you new exercises, but also push you to do it at a higher level of intensity that you would do it on yourself. Yes or no?
Yes.
So remember, when it doesn't make sense, that's when you should do it. When you don't know why you should go to this Wisdom Convention, that's exactly why you should go. Now, some of you hide behind skepticism as why you don't. I just don't trust them. You're just scared. You know, this whole thing where you're like, oh, I don't know about this. That skepticism is not because you're actually not sure about us, because it's pretty obvious. Call 911 and figure it out if you want. If you're not sure about this, call the cops, ask them to come here. If they take us away, you're the hero. Jenny, don't put you in a newspaper. They figured it out. After 30 years, somebody thought about calling the cops on them. So don't tell me, oh, I'm just not sure about this. But the things that I'm saying are not crazy. This is common sense, guys. So stop saying, oh, I just don't trust them. Then work on yourselves. If you can't trust someone in a way where they go, hey, you should read a book. I don't know if I trust you. I'm not going to read the book. And you have problems with it. I'm being honest with you. If somebody tells you to do something that is obviously to your benefit and you hide behind lack of trust is why you don't do it, you're just lying to yourself. You just have too big of an ego to admit that you're scared. That's it. You're just scared because you don't know how you're going to handle the thing that comes on the other side of the unknown. Just like we're all human, aren't we?
Yeah.
We're all scared of what? The unknown. And if you're new to this, there's a lot of unknowns.
Yeah.
And when you say, I don't trust, you know who you don't trust? You don't trust you, not me. Because trusting me, it's obvious. The results speak for themselves. Also, the advice is just common sense. Exercise. Reach your goals. I don't know about this one. Come to a convention and learn from billionaires. Oh, this one. Why a convention? Why not? The only person you need to trust is yourself. That's it. And the best way to gain trust in yourself is to trust someone else who's already where you want to be. And if they ever tell you to do something that hurts you or others, call me, we'll kick that person out, and we'll figure out what the hell is wrong with them. But I've never seen that happen in our organization. There. But if you're gonna learn from your own experiences, go ahead, come back in 20 years. At some point, you gotta make a decision. Either you're gonna mentor you or you're gonna let someone else mentor you. But the mentor within has gotten you to this place. If you're happy with where you are, you love it, then keep it up. But if you want to make some changes, then maybe you got to fire that mentor within and hire someone else and listen to them for a while. And in different areas, you're going to have different mentors. You might have a mentor in fitness. Maybe you're someone who's amazing when it comes to relationships, but you don't get business that much. So you listen to yourself when it comes to relationships, but you listen to someone else in business. Is that pretty common sense or no? Yes. All right. Are not willing to take 100% responsibility for their life. Pretty self-explanatory. You can't change something that you're not going to be responsible for. The only way you can change is if you take responsibility. Don't care. People who don't care don't achieve. People who don't care don't achieve. You know those people that always say, I don't care? Yeah. I don't care what you think. I don't care about this. Those people don't go far in life. And you know, I used to hide behind I don't care. You know what I was hiding from? Getting hurt. I would tell myself that I don't care because if I cared, then I would get hurt. And I didn't want to get hurt. I don't want to be sad. That's true, right? So I would hide behind this facade of I don't care, DGA, I don't give a fuck. Oh, I'm a tough thing. I don't give a. And then you go cry at home. I don't care what you say. You're at home. But isn't that what we do? Let's be honest. There's no hiding. That's what people do. It's a facade. It's this tough man act that you're putting on that you don't need to. Caring is amazing. Caring is when you give love. Caring is when you give your best. Caring is when I come here and I do all these things. I don't do it for myself. I do it for you. Caring is when you work an extra 3 hours because you want to help your team member hit their MD. Make sense? Caring is the most powerful thing that we have. But we hide away from it because we're afraid of getting hurt. Lack the ability, there we go, to manage priorities. They lack the ability to manage. You can't manage time, but you can manage priorities. Does that make sense? So you got to get better at understanding what is a priority and what isn't. And here's the thing. It's easy to know if you know where you're going. If you don't have a goal, if you don't have a destination, if you're not sure why you do the things that you do, it's hard to prioritize. But once you set a goal, once you know why you're going after it, now prioritizing is easy. Now some of you are like, Wanima, how do I figure out what I want? You just gotta sit down with yourself and ask some good questions. And we do those exercises all the time. So next time we do it, make sure you participate. But once you know where you're going, then it's just about prioritizing your time so that you get the things done that get you closer there. Every day that goes is another day that you're either closer to where you're going or farther away from it. Does that make sense? You'll never get the day back. You can waste money will come back. You can't really waste a day because it doesn't come back. Now, some people waste the future worrying about the past. Okay? Some people waste today because of something they did yesterday. What a ridiculous way to live. You already messed up yesterday. Now you mess up today worrying about yesterday. I can't believe I did that. Move on. Who cares? Move on. You should care. I'm not saying don't care. But here's what caring looks like. Here's what caring looks like. Let me tell you what caring looks like. You take a moment and go, you know what? What made me make that mistake? You take a couple notes. It shouldn't take more than an hour for you to figure out why you messed up. Most of you can figure out in 5 minutes. Yes or no? Yeah. Then you figure out why you messed up. You come up with a solution. That process should take less than 30 minutes. And then you forgive yourself and you move on and act on what you learned. The biggest reason why people get stuck in life is because they haven't forgiven themselves for what they did in the past, for what other people did to them in the past. Whatever the story is, you gotta let it go. You can't create a new future replaying the old one. Does that make sense? This is not a motivational speech. This is facts. Think about how much of your time you spent thinking about things that have already been done. Some people a lot, some people not that much. But if you're driving and you're looking at the rear view mirror, there's only one place you're gonna end up, in a car accident. Do not try this at home. This should be enough for you to know. You don't need to try it. But if you're driving and you're looking at the rear view mirror, what do you think is gonna happen? Sooner or later, you're gonna hit something. That's how most people live life. They're living life by looking at the rear view mirror instead of in front of them. So here's the thing, you have to be good at moving on. One of the best skills, you know what makes the difference between great and greatest in anything? How fast they move on. If you're playing a sport, let's say you're a soccer player, and you just hit a shot and it didn't go in. You know what most soccer players do for the next 5 minutes? Damn, I should have taken a better shot. Oh, why did I do that? And guess what? In that 5 minutes, they have no productivity on the field. The best of the best, the professionals, when they miss the shot, they just move on. That's the no expectations mindset that we talk about in our business. Yes or no?
Yeah, no.
Okay? When you're worrying about why that person said no, you're not inviting the new one that could say yes. When you're worried about why that client canceled, you're not going to close the next one that might actually stay. When you're worried about that team member who's not picking up the call, you're not going to make the call to the new team member that needs you to call them that might be your next superstar.